Hello class, in this video, I'm going to explain how to write a for loop. And in some of the previous video, you already learned how to write a while loop. So for loop is similar to a while loop, but the format is a little bit different. And again, for loop is also used to repeat a group of statements multiple times. So let's take a look at the format of a for loop. The keyword is for, and the for loop has three parts. They are separated, they are inside the parentheses, and the three parts are separated by a semicolon. So when you look at a for loop, you should see two semicolon inside a parentheses. And the loop body start with the open curly brace and end with closed curly brace. So whatever statement you have in here will be executed as part of the for loop. So let's go ahead and see how the three parts of a for loop work. The first part is called initial expression, or sometimes we call it initializer. This is where you initialize the loop control variable. The second part is the condition expression. This is the condition that is evaluated, and then if it is true, the loop body will be executed. If it is false, you exit the for loop. The update expressions is usually the part where you update the loop control variable. Usually it's increment or decrement of the loop control variable. And after we finish executing for loop, and then we just continue to execute statement after the for loop. Let's take a look at the example so that you will see how the for loop works. In this program, we're gonna calculate the saving. Let's say you have an initial amount of money you deposit into the saving account, and then every year you earn an interest. So the user will enter the interest rate, the user will enter the amount, the saving amount and interest rate, and then the loop will iterate 10 times, or the loop will execute 10 times, and each time represent 1 year for that saving amount. So let's take a look at the program. In here, we declare some double variable initial savings. That's what the user enter, initial amount of the saving account. The interest rate, that's what the user enter. And the interest rate is enter as percentage, and then we need to calculate what that percentage means in order to use in our calculation. The current saving is the current value of the saving account. So that's what we want to see, and we will print it. On line 27, we ask the user to enter initial saving amount, and then we read that into initial saving. We ask the user to enter the interest rate. We read that into interest rate. However, we have to make adjustment to interest rate. So let's say the user enter 5% interest rate. And in order to use that 5% in the formula, we have to take that 5, the percentage, divide by 100. So I have to make an adjustment right here. I say the interest rate is really must be divided by 100. I hope you still remember this shorthand notation. What that means is something like this. Interest rate equal to interest rate divided by 100. So that's the shorthand notation means. So usually we don't write the whole expression like this. Is too much typing. We write it shorthand, and then we output the header before the loop. Annual saving for 10 years. Current saving for the first year is initialized to the initial amount, initial saving. And then this is the initialization part of the for loop. We start out, we have to do this first. We initialize variable I to 0. The loop condition is I less than 10. And the update is plus plus I. So plus plus I mean we increment I by 1. So initially we start with I equal to 0, and then we check this condition. If this condition is true, we execute this loop body. And after we finish executing the loop body, we increment the variable I. The I is called the loop control variable. This variable controls the for loop. We increment the variable I, and then we check the condition. We will not go back here. We do initialization only once, but after we increment variable I, we check this loop condition to see if it is still true. If it is still true, we will execute the loop body. After we execute the loop body, then we do this increment, and then we check the condition. So we keep doing that until this condition is false. That's when we exit the loop. Also, I want to explain the pre-increment and post-increment a little bit because it can be confusing. In the loop, sometimes you see people do this. It's called pre-increment, or sometimes people also do this. I plus plus, it's called post-increment. For the loop purpose, it doesn't matter. Pre-increment or post-increment will get you the same result. However, if you use this in an expression, you will see that there is a difference. So let's say I initialize the variable I to 10. The pre-increment means you increment the variable and then you use a value. So on line 45 in my cout, I say plus plus I. That means increment the variable I and then use it in this cout statement. And then after that, I also print the variable I itself to see what it looks like. So in this case, we do pre-increment. That means I will become 11, then we use it in the cout statement. So the cout statement should say I should print 11 right here. Then we try post-increment in the next few lines. I is initialized back to 10 so that we can compare the one up here and the one down here. Now inside of do pre-increment, we do post-increment. Post-increment means you write the variable and then plus plus. So this is post-increment versus pre-increment. So what post-increment means, you use the value and then you increment the variable. So in this case, we use the value of I, which is 10 in the cout statement, and then we increment the value of I. After this statement, I should become 11. But in here, the cout should print 10. And similarly, plus minus minus I and I minus minus also works the same way as plus and plus. So let's say we want to run this program. I do build and run. Initial saving, I'm gonna say 100. So in my initials, Initially, I deposit 100 into my saving account, and the interest rate is 5. So that represents 5%. And then I hit enter. Okay, let me make this window bigger so you can see the output. The output say annual saving for 10 years. This is the initial amount we put in. The following year, we earn 5% interest rate. So the following year, we get $105. And after that year, we earn another 5% interest rate on this amount. So this is called considered compound interest. So we earn 5% on that amount. So that's why the new amount right here is 110. And then the next year, we earn another 5% on this compound. So after 10 years, with 5% interest rate, after 10 years, start with 100, you get $155.13. Now let's see how the post-increment and pre-increment works. Let me move this window to here, this window to here, so we can see both output and code. So I is initialized to 10. And then we do cout, pre-increment, right here, pre-increment, you see I is 11. Because we increment and then we use a value in this cout statement. After the pre-increment, we just want to print I again to see what it is. And it is 11. And then we try post-increment, same initial value, I is initialized to 10. And then I do post-increment instead of pre-increment. Then I use it in the cout statement. So the post-increment say 10. Because the post-increment say use a value and then increment. So the current value is 10. So we use it in the cout statement and then we increment. And on line 52, we print after the post-increment. So I is 11. So in both cases, I is 11, but depends on when you use it. In the pre-increment case, I is 11. On line 45 because we increment and then we use, but on line 51, we use a value which show that I is 10 and then we increment. However, in the for loop, it doesn't matter whether you use pre-increment or post-increment. It doesn't make any difference because after this, then we do the comparison. So let's run this example again so you can see that if my initial value, if my initial saving is 1,000, see what we get. I'll run it again. And I'm going to rearrange this window so you can see both the output and the code. So I say 1,000, or actually I want to use 100 and then change my interest rate instead of 5, I'm going to say 8. So after 10 years, I almost double my money if the interest rate is 8. Previously, if the interest rate is 5, after 10 years, I only grow my saving by 50%. But if the interest is 8 after 10 years, I almost, so it grows double. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.